big theme in my life is my relationship, and how to create harmony. I have a son who's 5 with my partner that's been an on and off partner for the last 7 years, and I've just been really in a state of kind of perpetual confusion, and I want to find a way to be peaceful in myself and my choice to go forward with the relationship or to not. And currently we are still going forward with a lot of bumps, but my biggest concern was my indecision around my relationship, as well as feeling like, do I really believe what's coming up? Am I a good candidate for this work? Can I trust myself? Can I trust Orly and this method? And you were really patient with me. Thank you. And I think just my own belief in myself and in my choices, being able to feel like, okay, I'm making this choice and I don't doubt it. The first thing I saw, just even as we were counting down, was myself in a kind of a wet, sandy cave with a certain type of tree, and I don't even know what it's called, but then I saw myself wearing like a geisha style robe, and I was thinking about something, and I was thinking about my child that I was pregnant with at the time. And this was, I thought it was interesting because as a girl, a young girl in this life, I've been very interested in Japanese culture, always drawn to it. And this coming up, I was feeling like, is that just a fabrication of my own, desire to connect with that culture? But seeing that there was something here with Orly, and with Orly's patience, letting me know that, hey, this is coming up for you, so trust it. But from there, I was shown that I, as a young girl, came from a kind of a poor fisherman's town somewhere in Japan, and that I was told by an extended family member or friend, I'm not quite sure, that there was an opportunity to go to a more populated area that was kind of more cultured, and that I could learn through participating in this. It was kind of a house for girls where you learn the arts, you learn music, you learn literature, tea ceremonies, and ways to entertain. These were, kind of your pre-courtesan era, where it was about entertainment. It was about this grace and poise. And this was going to afford me a lifestyle that I, in my young girl's head, really wanted. I saw that there was this very commoner lifestyle that I didn't want to participate in, so I left my family at a young age and ended up pursuing this this learning, this higher learning. And then through that experience, having gone through all this training and then meeting the type of people that I met, I ended up with a client that was married, who we ended up getting more involved and eventually becoming pregnant with his child. And of course, that was something that wasn't, really okay. I mean, it's still not okay in a lot of ways in our modern society, but especially in that era, there was no, I'm going to leave my marriage for you and this child, that, especially not from somebody of my background. That's not something that was really done back then. So when I was in that cave, I was contemplating the child and whether or not I was going to move forward with pregnancy, and I ended up doing so. And reverting into a more kind of common lifestyle where I was caretaking for other families while raising my child, my son. And it's funny, I have a 5-year-old right now. And just kind of living day to day, and not on this opulent, lifestyle, but still being provided for, and providing for my son, and having him eventually move on. And in those times, there's not cell phones, there's not so much communication. So if your child leaves, that's pretty much that. They're gone. And that's what my son ended up doing, and I ended up being more of like a recluse in a way, and just kind of living a very quiet, secluded life. I'm feeling very saddened during my regression in a way. I'm feeling like, what purpose did that serve? And, worrying about the connection with my son. And I think that about him, and I always would joke about that with my current son, like, oh, he's going to grow up and leave me. And like I say that, and so it's interesting that I have this regression experience. Well, I guess the similarities between the client and my current relationship are this unable to commit. Something that, I'm very much like a homemaking Virgo, and he's this brash Aries in this life. In this previous life, he just had no way of committing. In this life, there's an opportunity, and he's, within the last several months, been taking that on much more. Whereas, like, in the early parts of raising my child, I felt very similar to this woman in Japan, where I was a single mother and, just kind of taking this on with myself and, my village. So that's pretty amazing that there are these similarities between, what I've been dealing with here in this life as a mother and as, somebody's partner, and in this previous life with this client, where it was, crazy chemistry, a lot of passion there, and then this like drop off. The thing that I took away was being able to take my own power back and make choices for myself and make course corrections as things come up, because we never really know what's going to happen, and the only thing that we can do is live in the present and be able to deal with whatever comes up when it comes up, rather than having this fear about what's going to happen in the future, and in essence creating that. I think that I feel more confident in knowing, like, hey, if my relationship doesn't work out, like, I'm going to be okay. My son's going to be okay. And there's not this, like, deep feeling of heartbrokenness that I once felt in that previous life, as well as previously in my life just a few years ago. I feel more rooted in myself.